Auckland Cup, 3,200 metres the distance. Now to stay at Ellerslie. Here's a tremendous moment as we now await a start in the Auckland Cup, 25 minutes away, and we're going to speak over the next 25 minutes to some of the people that have come along here to Ellerslie, people that perhaps you wouldn't normally associate with the racetrack, but they're here today for the big race. It is a very good field in the sense that it is so even and it's almost impossible to pick a winner. Well, Grant Nisbet has the lineup for this year's 1985 DB Auckland Cup.
The top weighted number 1 is Fountain Court, 2 is Commissionaire, 3 Bellerophon, 4 Rose and Thistle, 5 Secure Deposit, number 6 Mr. Duffy, 7 is Beaver Boy, 8 Greatness, number 9 is Rebel Royale, 10 Otakiri Maid, 11 Double Trouble, 12 Capel Lady, 14 Unequalled, 16 Ruanuku, 17 Rush Cutter, 18 Secret Ace, 21 Middle Ridge, and number 22 Kotare Chief will complete the field in the Auckland Cup. Well, as you can see, a tremendous crowd, a real festive atmosphere here at Ellerslie. A beautiful day once again for the running of the most prestigious race run on this track, certainly the DB Auckland Cup.
Joining me now in the birdcage is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Mr. David Lange. Sir, thank you very much for joining us on the program. I know you have been studying the form ever since you arrived on the track, so I'm expecting some really good information.
Yes, well, it would be, and if it was that good, I wouldn't tell you, you see. But I'm sure the Treasury would go for Greatness, and Foreign Affairs would go for Commissionaire, and my police people would say Fountain Court, being careful. And that's the sort of 3 that are going to win the Cup.
Well, there we are. It is a tremendous event. Do you come to Ellerslie very often?
I come to Ellerslie every year when I'm Prime Minister. Do you come to Ellerslie very often?
Oh, I come here every time that Television New Zealand send me, correct. Let's talk about some of the horses in the race. You mentioned Greatness and you mentioned Secure Deposit, but if you were going to pick one horse, what would it be?
Well, if I wanted to make my money as safe as it could be, it'd be Fountain Court. Otherwise, I think Greatness appeals to me.
Now, I wonder why that appeals to you.
I'm not much of a judge of horses, but I am a judge of class, and the name Greatness has just got something to do with it.
Mr. Lange, I understand you've taken a little wander out into the middle. What was the atmosphere like out there?
Very good atmosphere, relaxed. There's family groups. It's very much of a carnival occasion. It was good to be here. Very good.
Sir Robert Muldoon, when he was Prime Minister, used to grin with delight at the thought that the betting figures were increasing all the time and were remarkable. Do you have the same feeling towards the betting figures?
Oh, yes, except that we actually let them have some of it back. And that may have been a mistake. They all seem to have enough money to spend. But we passed that bill which gives a little bit more back to the racing industry, which probably doesn't make Sir Robert grin as much as he used to.
This is probably your first opportunity to speak to New Zealanders who are gathered watching this Auckland Cup. What's the forecast do you see for the year ahead?
It's going to be a good year. It'll be overcast during the year. But we will settle down. 1984 will look a bit hectic by comparison. I think 1985 will be a more careful year without so much incident, and we ought to be able to build up something pretty good out of it. We're going to go into a bit of hard conditioning so that we can take the sprint in 87.
Mr. Lange, if you ever do end your reign as Prime Minister, I wonder whether you would consider working on television.
Oh, I'd consider being a jockey.
Thank you, sir, for joining us, and good luck for the big race.
Thank you.
There we are, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Mr. David Lange, in a very bright mood today in preparation for the DB Auckland Cup. Well, the most important thing I'm sure that most of you punters are interested in is what is your chance in today's race going to pay. So let's have a look at the dividends as offering with Grant.
Right, number 1 Fountain Court is paying $11 and $3.30. 2 Commissionaire, $11 and $4.10. Number 3 Bellerophon, still an outsider at 59 to win and 18 a place. 4 Rose and Thistle, the winner here on Boxing Day, $7.60 and $2.60. Number 5 is Secure Deposit, $9.20 and $3 even. 6 Mr. Duffy, $16 to win, $5.40 for a place. 7 Beaver Boy, 22 to win, $7.20 for a place. Number 8 is Greatness, $8.60 and $2.90. So Mr. Long, you'll get $8.60 for his dollar a win. Number 9 Rebel Royale, $13 to win, $4.30 a place. 10 Otakiri Maid, $10 to win and $3.60 for a place. 11 is Double Trouble at 47 to win and 12 a place. Number 12, Capel Lady, 27 to win and $8 a place. Across we go to number 14, Unequaled, at 37 to win and $10 a place. Number 16 is Ruanuku, $44 to win and $10 for a place. 17 is Rush Cutter at 43 to win and 11 a place. 18 is still the favourite, it would seem, in Secret Ace at $7.50 and $2.90. Challenging hard, though, for favouritism is number 21, Middle Ridge, at $7.80 and $3.50. And right down the end, number 22, Kotare Chief, $37 to win and $9.30 for a place. Now let's join the Auckland Cup field in the parade ring. And there, in fact, is number 21, who is Middle Ridge. And there's been a lot of word around for this horse in the last few days, especially after his impressive winning performance here on Friday, the winning performance that actually got him into the Auckland Cup field. Around goes Secret Ace. He is the favourite, looking very relaxed indeed. Number 18. Looking at them as they move round the parade ring, there's number 14, Unequaled. Something of an outsider in the race. $11 is Double Trouble. Another outsider, paying 47 to win and $12 for a place at this stage. Number 10, quite a bit of word around for this mare, Otakiri Maid. Double Trouble passing by again, followed by Unequaled. Not all of them, it would seem, in the ring just as yet. Very big crowd, as you can see, gathered round the ring. Shouldn't be too long before we have them in the main bird cage here at Ellerslie. Ellerslie looking beautiful as usual on New Year's Day. Number 6 is Mr. Duffy. $16 to win, $5.40 for a place at the moment, Mr. Duffy. Number 2, Commissioner, goes past, followed by Bellerophon at $60 to win and 18 a place, Bellerophon. Number 4 in the hood is Rose and Thistle. 5, Secured Deposit, so most of them would seem are there now. 7, Beaver Boy, an impressive winner at Awapuni on Boxing Day. Greatness going past. All these horses looking very relaxed indeed. Otakiri Maid and Double Trouble going round again.
Thank you. Well, Mark Todd has joined us. Mark, you've got a very special moment today leading out the DB Auckland Cup. I bet you that was something you didn't imagine was going to happen.
No, well, actually they approached me some time ago to ask me if I would do it, and I'm only too delighted. I'm very keen on racing, and it's a great thrill to be leading out the field of the Auckland Cup.
How's this young fellow alongside you here? Is he very keen? Would he like to be joining them?
Well, I know he's a thoroughbred, but he hasn't actually raced himself, and he's just a young horse, and we'll be just doing a few basic movements and trying to put on a bit of a display to show what you know, a young horse can do.
Mark, there is a tremendous atmosphere at Ellerslie. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Have you given the race much thought? Have you sorted out your winner?
Well, I've sort of had a bit of a think about it. To me, it looks to be a fairly even field. But I'm a bit keen on Middle Ridge and Secured Deposit, so if I take a Cornella, those will be the two.
Well, Gary Grills just walked past, and I think a smile broke forth on his face as he heard you say that, so he's got some confidence. Well, we hope you enjoy your afternoon here, and look forward to watching you lead out the field for 1985.
Thanks very much.
Mark Todd, down in the birdcage. We'll be back with more from here just a little later.
So now the jockeys have arrived on the scene to join their horses. That's Middle Ridge. Number 21, Gary Grills, is the rider, hoping to emulate his father's performance on Kirrama back in 1975. Number 5 is Secure Deposit with Neil Hain. This combination, of course, won the Wellington Cup last year. Going past in the background there is Mr. Duffy, the grey. The rider there, Peter Timms. Number 10 is Otakiri Maid. Grant Cooksley, the rider here. Grant Cooksley already successful in one of the earlier races here at Ellerslie today. Number 12 going past in the background was Capel Lady. Mark Barnsley, the rider there. 17 Rush Cutter, Shane Dye, who rode Carrier into second place in the Clifford Plate in the previous race. So it shouldn't be long before we have the horses in the birdcage, still in the parade ring. There's number 22, Kotare Chief. We had a pretty useful race in the Queen Elizabeth Handicap. Kotare Chief had qualified for the Cup by running second here last Friday. Lance O'Sullivan, the rider. Now the field coming into the birdcage. The first time that most of the public here at Ellerslie will see the horses as they come through, to be led by the top weight Fountain Court. Applause breaking out now as the field comes into the birdcage. 3 Bellerophon went through. Rose and Thistle and Bill Skelton. Their Secure Deposit with Neil Hain. Mr. Duffy, the grey, should be next with Peter Timms aboard. There's Beaver Boy, number 7, Jock Cadogan, the rider. Greatness and Earl Harrison, then Rebel Royale with Jim Walker. 10 is Otakiri Maid and Grant Cooksley, the rider. Double Trouble with Gary Phillips. Capel Lady, number 12, Mark Barnsley. 14 Unequalled and David Peake. There's Ruanuku, 17 Rush Cutter, Shane Dye, the rider. Just a couple more to come through. We're looking for the favourite now. Secret Ace, just the favourite I might say too at 750, because Rush, at least Middle Ridge, is now firm for 770. And here indeed is Middle Ridge, challenging hotly for favouritism in the Cup. Gary Grills, the rider. And the last one through should be Kotare Chief. Indeed it is, with Lance O'Sullivan.
Thistle in the blue with the red stars. By the Gelding.
Well, Grant, the atmosphere here is quite amazing. I must say the crowd broke into applause, first and foremost, I think, for Mark Todd, the Olympic gold medalist who was leading the field, and then to see these finely tuned thoroughbreds about to embark on the most important race in, obviously, their racing career, the DB Auckland Cup. Most of the horses now making their way out onto the track, and we'll just get a look at them now. You can see the full field working up towards the entrance to the track, and then down they will move down past the winning post and then make their run preliminary gallop before going to the starting position. So the full field, with one exception, Commissionaire has already gone to the start.
not doing a preliminary. So with Commissionaire, the exception of Commissionaire, the full field parading down the main straight.
Next out is horse 9, Rebel Royale, by Jimmy Walker today, big chestnut and the Mayo colours. Rebel Royale.
Well, we mentioned a number of personalities here today. Chris Lewis, I'm a little surprised to see you here. Chris, interested in the Auckland Cup?
Yeah, I am. I just got back last night. I've been practicing in Australia, and I thought that I'd take the opportunity to get out here and watch the Auckland Cup.
Have you ever experienced an atmosphere like this? I mean, I know you get it in tennis, but in horse racing?
It's a great...
Coming up.
Thanks, Philip.
Chris Lewis, there we are, and there is Rose and Thistle, one of the horses that Chris mentioned, who is making his way down now towards the start. And what a tremendous occasion it must be for Billy Skelton, who is attempting to win his second DB Auckland Cup. He last did it in 1964 aboard Lucky Sun. Can he do it again today, 21 years later, aboard Rose and Thistle? There was a most convincing performance too the other day here on Boxing Day from this horse. We saw him in action in the Queen Elizabeth, and this is what he did. Talk that there would be retirement in the offing for you, but your opinion seems to indicate now that you're going to stay around for a little while yet.
Well, Philip, it is getting close, but as I say, one day I could go to the races and, you know, win a good race and say, well, that's a finish. While I'm fit and well and enjoying it, I wouldn't be here today if I didn't think I could do justice. But I'm still getting that kick out of winning a race.
What sort of pressure does it place on you, a 3,200 metre race?
Well, it's no more. I know the glamour of the Auckland Cup, but as soon as you're on the horse, you're back out there, you've got a job to do. The excitement, the build-up to it and things like so that, there is a lot, but like I've been going, 38 years now, and I've had a fair bit of excitement and stood the strain right through the years, so, you know, it's the same as any other race.
Yet that must give you a personal thrill to be riding a horse for your brother, Errol Skelton.
Oh, this is terrific. As Errol says, well, you were the last to win on him at Wairau nearly 12 months ago. You know, how about riding him in the Auckland Cup? And I said, well, we was going to see how good he went in the Queen Elizabeth, and if he went good enough, well, I was coming up.
I think you've ridden in the Cup around about 11 times. Is it a different approach for the Auckland Cup as for other 2 mile events?
Yes, quite true. It is different riding at Auckland here to a lot of other, you know, big cups. The Auckland Cup is a different run race. As you say, it's most of the good weight for ages, good milers win, like Lucky Sun. I pleaded with the owner not to come here. He said I might never get another horse good enough to nominate in the Cup, which is true, he hasn't. But we come up and won it. Well, in my opinion, 1 mile and 3 was his distance.
Do you give Rose and Thistle a good show?
Oh, he's got to have a chance. I was thrilled when he didn't get re-handicapped because he's only a small horse. And, you know, he doesn't take any buffeting and weights just hold on him the last bit all the time.
What effort have you had to keep at the weight that you're at today?
Well, it is funny. I went on this Bred diet for my clothes more than anything. I've got 2 new suits at home that won't fit me. I think I've only got 2 pair of sports trousers. And the wife said, what are you going to do? And I, roughly about 3 weeks or so ago, I went on the Bred diet. Now I'm riding him at 54 and a 2-pound saddle. Well, I was wasting to ride 55, 56 kilos. So, and I feel this is, I've come to the races, never missed a meal, never had a sauna this morning, and I've been off those water pills, so I feel terrific.
You look very well too, Bill, and we will all be behind you. We wish you well for the big Cup today.
Thank you, Philip. It'd be very nice.
What a tremendous moment it would be for the man who has won more races than any other New Zealand jockey, Bill Skelton, aboard the last start winner, number 4, Rose and Thistle.
And Rose and Thistle, $7.60 and $2.60. Pretty good value at that money after that brilliant and somewhat unexpected win in the Queen Elizabeth here on Boxing Day. This horse is a proven runner at the distance. He ran 4th in the Melbourne Cup in November. And the other thing to remember, of course, that he wasn't re-handicapped for his win here on the first day.
Just in behind now is number 17, and this is Rush Cutter. He's a locally trained horse as far as Avondale is concerned. He's to be ridden by Shane Dye. He finished 2nd in the Rotorua Cup, and 17 Rush Cutter at the moment offering pretty good odds.
Yes, $41 to win and $11 for a place. He was showing some pretty useful form leading up to the New Zealand Cup in November, but since that time his efforts have been somewhat disappointing. He only went a moderate race in the Queen Elizabeth for 11. So I think really those odds probably pretty right at 41 and 11 for 17 Rush Cutter.
In behind is number 6, and this is Mr. Duffy, the winner of the Waikato Gold Cup. Peter Timms to ride for Colin McCall, the trainer from Te Rapa.
Well, this horse is paying $17 to win, $5.40 for a place. Ran in this race last year and finished 12th. Went a pretty useful 5th in the Queen Elizabeth, which is a sort of a typical lead-up Auckland Cup winning performance, that to run about 4th or 5th or 6th even in the Queen Elizabeth. And of course, just cast your mind back a bit over a month to November when he completely demolished a very strong field in the Waikato Cup. So that's number 6, Mr. Duffy.
Jack Mudford to move these horses into line as we look at another starter there. 22 being Kotare Chief, Lance O'Sullivan to ride, a horse who finished 2nd in the Queen Elizabeth handicap, and with that form, not without a chance.
Went a very useful race in the Queen Elizabeth, and 2nd here on Friday, paying $37 and $9.10. But on his Queen Elizabeth run would have to be given a rough chance. It loomed up halfway down the straight and just didn't quite see it out. But it was a pretty useful run by Kotare Chief.
A run about 2 minutes before a start in the DB Auckland Cup as the field for this year's Classic lines up. First 2 have gone into line. Ruanuku has gone forward. Gary Barkler to ride. Former the Auckland Cup.
Greatness, set and racing in the Auckland Cup. Now a little slow out was Capel Lady. One of the first out was Greatness, and Fountain Court kicked up on the inside. Running round now double guard, going up Double Trouble on the outside. Middle Ridge has been parked about 3 and 4 wide. Secret Ace has got into a good spot on the rail already. They followed round Bellerophon, then followed next Rose and Thistle. Double Trouble back on the inside. Off Beaver Boy now and working round wide. Secure Deposit, Kotare Chief in that group as well. Settling back now is Mr. Duffy towards the rear and well back also. Now Commissionaires race round to lead them in the Cup as they work down past the 800 the first occasion. Back last is Ruanuku, and well back Otakiri Maid. Back with them also Capel Lady, Unequalled and Rush Cutter. Working to the 600 metres the first occasion. Now Commissionaire bowling along. He's going to set a good rate. 3 lengths on Middle Ridge, who's pulling a little hard. 3 behind him, Secure Deposit Park 3 deep. Then followed Bellerophon, 1 out. Fountain Court settled nicely on the inside. 3 back behind them, Greatness and Secret Ace. Then followed about 2.5, Rose and Thistle as they swing into the straight the first occasion. Kotare Chief, Double Trouble, the next 2 settling back. Then Beaver Boy, then Mr. Duffy, Rush Cutter, well back Capel Lady. Otakiri Maid about 15 lengths off the leaders, then 2 back behind them is Unequalled, and Ruanuku is last of all. Racing to the judge now, and Commissionaire leads about 4.5 lengths, and he's going keenly. So too Middle Ridge in second spot. 1.5 lengths Secure Deposits, loving it. He's lobbing along easily. On the outside then is Bellerophon. Fountain Court tucked in on the inside of Secret Ace, improving. 1.5 lengths Greatness as they leave the straight. Then Rebel Royale. Then Double Trouble, followed out by Rose and Thistle at the 1,600 metres now. Then Kotare Chief, Beaver Boy. They're followed by next is Capel Lady, Mr. Duffy. Rush Cutter, Otakiri Maid. Then followed Unequalled. And last of all is Ruanuku. So working into the 1,400 metre mark now, and they ran their first half in 1:38.48. So the leader is Commissionaire, 1.5 lengths clear. From in second place, Middle Ridge. 2 to car, then Secured Deposit. 1.5 lengths Secret Ace, then Fountain Court, the inside of Greatness. 1.5 lengths Bellerophon, then followed Double Trouble with Rebel Royale 3 deep. Then followed Rose and Thistle, then Kotare Chief trying to poke between horses. Then Beaver Boy, Mr. Duffy, 1.5 lengths back. Then Capel Lady, Rush Cutter, Otakiri Maid hasn't moved. 15 lengths off the leaders. From then Unequalled, and Ruanuku was last of all. Down the rise in the Cup, 900 metres to travel. Now Middle Ridge goes up and tackles Commissionaire on the lead, and they lead 1.5 lengths. Secure Deposits camped on them. Right there also is equal favourite Secret Ace. 2.5 behind these now. Greatness, a half-back Rebel Royale. 2.5 Rose and Thistle, then Fountain Court being niggled at, then followed by Double Trouble, Mr. Duffy, as they come to the 600 metres, and the leader is Middle Ridge takes over in the Cup. Secure Deposit races into second. Commissionaire giving ground sharply the inside. A danger there is Secret Ace. He moves into second equal. From then Rebel Royale as they come off the false rail. Greatness is next, and then Kotare Chief, Rose and Thistle. 400 to go, and Middle Ridge set sail for home now from Secure Deposit. They set down to it, and Secret Ace joining issue on the outside. They're the 3, and here's a late run. Kotare Chief, so Secure Deposit, though, shot to the lead with 250 to go. He's well in command at this point from Middle Ridge, then followed by late Kotare Chief, then Secret Ace, but old Secure Deposit, he's well clear going to the post. He's got 4 lengths on Kotare Chief and Otakiri Maid. Secure Deposit gets the Cup. Second is Kotare Chief. Otakiri Maid was third. They were pulled at home and then Secret Ace. Middle Ridge, the next horse, 4 back to Rebel Royale. They were followed Capel Lady, a long way unequalled, Mr. Duffy, then followed Commissioner gave in. Then Rose and Thistle didn't yelp from Fountain Court, got tired from Rush Cutter, then well back Beaver Boy, then Greatness well back towards the rear, and alongside of it was Double Trouble and Ruanuku, and pulling up last was Bellerophon, and he's...
And so Secured Deposit has won the DB Auckland Cup, and what a thrill it's going to give Mrs. Eileen Mackley, Mrs. Ralph, her husband Hilton Mackley, who is a steward of the Auckland Racing Club, and trainer Neville Atkins from Waiuku. They have just pulled off the biggest race of the year in winning the DB Auckland Cup in grand style. Let's have a look at the final stages, if they are available, of this year's epic race.
And as they come around the corner, it's Middle Ridge who is the leader, but look at Secure Deposit just coming up on the outside.
Can Grant just
and
stop
Secret
talking
Ace
in a
on
minute?
the outside as well. Sorry, Philip. And it's Secure Deposit well and truly clear now, with Middle Ridge starting now to feel the pinch. Kotare Chief coming home strongly. Otakiri Maid finishing strongly along the rail, but look at Secure Deposit. He's got it well and truly won. About 3 lengths clear. Kotare Chief and Otakiri Maid coming home very quickly and will grab 3rd place. But look at the winning margin for Secure Deposit, 3 lengths. Kotare Chief has run 2nd, the lightweight, and Otakiri Maid has run 3rd.
So what a thrill it will be for the connections of Secured Deposit, and I can see Neville Atkins making his way through here in a moment. I'll try and get a quick word with him. What a thrill it must be for him. Neville Atkins, can I just get a very quick comment? Neville, what a reaction. What's your first reaction?
Fantastic, fantastic.
Was it the sort of race that you were hoping for?
Well, we wanted a pacemaker, and with Commissionaire and the horse that led them the other day, we'd hoped that they would make a good, strong pace, and he could just sit in behind and just lob along. And that's exactly what happened. Thrilled to pieces.
Neville, there were obviously must have been doubts about the horse after his Melbourne Cup effort and then coming back. Was it difficult to get him back up for a race like this?
Well, he was well over there, but they just went too fast for us. He had a week off when he finished racing over there. We brought him home, and he had another week off, and he's been in work, and he's his 2nd run up since he's come back.
He's been a marvellous horse for you, winning a Wellington Cup and now coming out and winning an Auckland Cup. Everything you've really ever wanted.
Yeah, that's dead right. Yeah, I always wanted to win the Auckland Cup, but it's eluded us up until now. But however, he's done the job for us.
Neville, anyone you'd like to pay tribute to at this stage?
Everybody that's been connected with a horse. I sincerely thank them very much.
And what are the plans for him just before you go?
Wellington Cup next.
So he'll try and do the double?
Yeah, try.
Good on you, Neville Atkins. There we are, the trainer and successful trainer of Secured Deposit, who has just won the Auckland Cup of 1985. Well, the man who has guided him to victory is Neil Hain, the jockey. Neil had a bit of a troublesome time in Australia, and he's come out today with a smile on his face as wide as the Auckland Harbour Bridge, and will take the big one, the one that he really wanted. A great performance. Grant Nisbet, I don't know what your feelings are, but perhaps you can fill us in on the place getters.
Yes, well, Secure Deposit, there are no real excuses for the others, Philip. They've run a very quick 3,200 metres. They went 3:17.18, so the pace was on all the way, and that certainly suited Secure Deposit. An excellent run from Kotare Chief in 2nd place, battled all the way to the line. Otakiri Maid came home quickly but a bit late, and then the 2 favourites were 4th and 5th. Number 18, Secret Ace, ran 4th, and 21, Middle Ridge. Had every chance, Middle Ridge, as you could see, took over, or as you saw in the replay, took over from the pacemaking Commissionaire and headed for home in front, but just couldn't see it out. There were 1 or 2 of the disappointed jockeys, or Jimmy Walker. Here's Neil Hain coming through now. Obviously delighted, so he should be too. There's Lance O'Sullivan weighing. Kotare Chief in 2nd place, and Grant Cooksley now goes to the scales. Then it'll be Gary Grills, at least it'll be Peter Johnson. Pretty tough on the jockeys, you can see A little bit of exertion there as Gary Girls now, the last to weigh.
49 kilos, weight correct.
So the weight is correct. There's Jim Walker. So Rebel Royale must have battled home into 6th place, so he's weighed as well. And we have the first 5 place getters now confirmed in the Auckland Cup. 5 secure deposit, 22 Kotare Chief, number 10 Otakiri Maid in 3rd place. 4th home was Secret Ace, and 5th was Middle Ridge.
So there you have it from Ellerslie, the result of the DB Auckland Cup for 1985, and absolutely no doubt about the winner today, a convincing winner of the 85 Epic. We're going to bring you the official information, the dividends, in 1 moment.
Might have the dividends available now. There we are. Number 5 secure deposit has paid $9.05 and $3 even in winning the Auckland Cup. 22 Kotare Chief, $9.15, and number 10 Otakiri Maid, $3.80. The Quinella was $228.30, and just looking at the trifecta, and it was another beauty. Last year, remember, it was $18,000. This year, $5,258.60. $5,258.60 for the numbers 5, 22 and 10 in the Auckland Cup. And so another Auckland Cup has been and gone. There can be no excuses, I don't think, for the opposition. We'll be hearing shortly from a panel of experts, but really the win was so decisive by a secured deposit. He was always going to win with 250 to go. You could see the others just weren't making any headway at all, and the only real dangers were Kotare Chief and Otakiri Maid, and they were making no headway at all. And secured deposit, because the time was so good, made it a true staying test. 3:17.18, that's a very quick 3,200 metres, and he was simply far too good on the day.
Well, now we are down in the birdcage, and I have an interesting group of gentlemen, journalists and one jockey, Noel Harris. Noel, you've just ridden in the Auckland Cup. Tell me, what was it like out there?
Oh, it was electrifying, but I never had the horse that could finish it off. I had a nice run early, but I drifted from, say, down the back straight.
What sort of race was it? Was it pretty much what you expected it to be?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty genuine run race. There's a few speedsters in it, and Commissioner here made a nice even pace, and that's what you like to see in big races like that.
The winner secured deposit, did you consider him a bit of a threat from your position? Did you see that he was always travelling well?
Yes, he's always loping, and I was sitting behind him, and you know, he was very relaxed, and it was just a matter of running the 2 miles out, and he done an excellent order.
He's proved that he's an out-and-out stayer after winning the Wellington Cup, and now they're going for the double. Do you think he's the sort of horse that could get the double?
Well, I think he can. There's not many other horses that have proven themselves over 2 miles, and he's come right at the right time.
Okay, thank you, Noel Harris, for joining us, and your comments on today's Auckland Cup. Well, now we've got a group of gentlemen here, journalists, particularly Jack Petley, the editor of Truth, editor of Friday Flash, Des Coppins, and Lex Nichols, editor of Sunday News. Well, gentlemen, what was your feeling on the Cup? I'll get a comment from you all.
Well, I think it's probably a very good training feat. This horse ran 13th out of 15 in the Avondale Cup, 3 starts back, came up, ran 3rd in the Queen Elizabeth and wins the Cup. And I think that Atkins, his training is absolutely superb. To get a horse back from Melbourne and do this, I think he deserves a great, great pat on the back.
I enjoyed the race, Philip, mainly because we saw some pace on for a change. Previous Auckland Cups, they've been pulling and reefing behind the leader. This time, that horse Commissioner made certain there was no loitering, and consequently secured deposit has set a new race record. It was a great race, a great spectacle.
Great ride by Neil Hain, I thought, Philip. Incidentally, his wife's hanging upside down in bed at home watching the race. Jill, she wrecked her neck and can't even walk, so she couldn't be here to see the race. Good luck to you, Jill. Lovely ride by Neil. Got him over one on the fence eventually from a 20 barrier draw, and there were just simply no excuses for the others, Philip. But I would say that this time next year, Middle Ridge will be a much stronger horse, and he'll win the Cup if you're looking for a long shot then. All right.
Aside from the honours that were taken, obviously, by secured deposit, what were your feelings on the other runs, particularly Otakiri Maid?
That was a fabulous run. She came from so far back and the pace was on. She must have been 15, 20 lengths away from them. And to come home, and the other horses weren't dying. They were still continuing a very strong gallop. And she came home very fast. But of course, when you get so far back, when they're stringing them out, you can't win cups. Whereas secured deposit's handy. Superb ride by Neil Hain, I thought.
Let's have a look at the race now, and we can perhaps have 1 or 2 theories on it. Obviously, from the start here, Keith Hobb is joining us as well, so we get a comment from Keith. Keith, first of all, were you surprised, obviously, that Commissioner ended up in front?
No, I wasn't. I thought with his draw of 13, and he's always pulled a little fiercely up to 2,000 metres, Phil, I thought that he would be the pacemaker, and I thought that he'd set a good rate, and of course that suited Secure Deposit down to the ground. With a round to go, the horse was absolutely loving it and lobbing along.
Des Coppins, at this stage here, Commissioner has pretty well taken the lead. Were you disappointed in his effort? Did you expect him to go like this?
Well, I had all the faith in the world in David Walsh and in Noel Eels. Actually, Noel did say to me during the week that the reason why he's got the horse in the Auckland Cup is because the race is worth $200,000. And let's face it, without Commissioner in the race, we may have seen a race as we've seen in Auckland Cups in past times, where horses have actually got on the heels of one another. But Commissioner made the race for the rest of the field.
Lex, Middle Ridge at this stage, as you can see, positioned very well in second place, but Commissioner's front-running tactics the way they were, would that have unsettled the horse a bit more?
I don't think so, Philip. I do think that Middle Ridge was the undoing of Commissioner because Gary Grills, with his lightweight, decided to have a crack at Commissioner about 800 out, and with his lightweight soon put paid to Commissioner's chances. I think if Middle Ridge hadn't have been camped right where he was, Commissioner may have lasted a lot longer than he did.
If someone had to write a synopsis of this race before the race, could you have just about predicted the positions now? I mean, here we've got Secured Deposit racing up there in about 3rd or 4th place. Fountain Court positioned on the road. It almost seemed to repeat, Keith Hobb, of a couple of the Auckland Cups or 2-mile events we've seen in the past.
Very much so in Fountain Court's case. He settles beautifully, though, and travels about that place. I think you could have read it because Commissioner, as I said, he's always pulled in 2,000-metre races. Middle Ridge is in second place. Well, he led all the way in his last 2 starts. He was in second place. Secured Deposit has always raced in the first 2 or 3. In fact, Neil Hain stated before the race he didn't mind if he led them. So those are the first 3 horses. Fountain Court's back on the inside rail. Bellerophon got trapped a little wide. She gave in a long way out, but she usually travels in about that space. The Secret Ace, well, he lobs along in that usual spot. He's about 6th in the gold colours. And no, I think it's a predictable race at that point. The only thing is possibly the rate they were going. They worked in their first mile in 1:38.4. They've set a New Zealand record, and it became a true stayers go, and that's the horse Secured Deposit that outstayed them.
OK, Keith Hobb, thank you for your comments. Jack Petley, a final comment from you.
Well, I think this horse could win the Wellington Cup. He's carried 53.5 today, and I think he could win the Wellington Cup with a big chance, Otakiri Maid, if she's come through it.
Des Coppins?
Otakiri Maid's run was actually an eye-catcher, and I think she's the one that could win the Wellington Cup with her lightweight.
Were you disappointed, Lex Nichols, in the race today or not?
No, it was a great race, Philip, and we mustn't overlook the fantastic effort of Kotare Chief. I know Code lightweight, but he came home extra well for a second. We're a long way back. Give him a big show in the Wellington Cup too.
Lex Nichols and gentlemen, thank you very much. Well, here is how Secured Deposit won the DB Auckland Cup from the turn. Let's join Keith Hobb for the final 400.
Now from Secured Deposit, they sit down to it, and Secret Ace joining issue on the outside. They're the 3, and here's a late run, Kotare Chief. So Secured Deposit, though, shot to the lead with 250 to go. He's well in command at this point from Middle Ridge, then followed by late Kotare Chief, then Secret Ace, but old Secured Deposit, he's well clear going to the post. He's got 4 lengths on Kotare Chief and Otakiri Maid. Secured Deposit gets the cup. Second is Kotare Chief. Otakiri Maid was 3rd. They were full at hand, then Secret Ace.
And when you win a race like that, this is the result. Up there on the presentation stand, Mrs. Ralph, Mrs. Eileen Mackley, Neil Hain, Neville Atkins, and of course the feature point of the exercise, Secured Deposit, the winner of today's DB Auckland Cup.